Want to give you some more updates. What is happening in Gaza, how the Zionist forces are getting defeated, how they're incurring now losses, huge loss. Before I move on, just to remind you, most of my viewers are not subscribed. If you happen to be one of them, consider subscribing. Let's go with all of these pictures, then you know what I'm talking about. The first one here, 5 tanks were destroyed by Al-Qassam. This is what they claimed. Now, these 5 tanks that were destroyed came in 2 different waves of attack. Number 1 was when a powerful explosion happened and 4 of them got completely destroyed, 4 tanks out of 5. And then on a separate incident, another tank was destroyed, Merkava. Remember, these are all Merkava tanks and they cost a lot of money. And that tank, that one particular tank, was destroyed with a explosive device. These are all file photos from me. Again, these are exclusive photos, pictures that you're looking at. Now let's move on to the next one. Basically, this is a Apache helicopter. This helicopter was targeted with a missile. A missile was launched towards this helicopter, and this missile was a SAM missile, SAM. And one Apache helicopter, it could cost up to $52 million, depending on the model and the program. But nevertheless, they're very, very expensive. This came under attack. We do not have a confirmation whether this helicopter was completely destroyed or what happened to it. This was flying over the Al-Buraizi camp in central Gaza. And again, this was claimed by Al-Qassam, the military wing of Hamas. They have made this claim that we have destroyed or targeted, not destroyed, targeted this Apache helicopter that cost at least 1 million. I mean, up to 52 million. I mean, depends. But the point here is they're very, very expensive. Now, they also have detected the Zionist terrorist forces, and they have responded to missile launches from northern Gaza. So these missiles are raining on Gaza every single day, and the David Sling, those Iron Dome, they're always working, or maybe not, who knows, but they are very, very busy. The operators are very, very busy. The batteries are very busy, and you can imagine they must be now exhausted. It's been more than 1 year now since the genocide started in Gaza, and ever since that time, this defense system, air defense system, or just defense system, David Sling and Iron Dome, are in use. Now it fell, so these missiles that were detected that were launched from Gaza fell in near kibbutz Nir Am area. The other one fell in an open area, and this is a claim that the Zionists make all the time, that yeah, we are okay, this fell on open area. But the point here is that how come they still get into your airspace with all of this Iron Dome system in place? Now, if you take a look at the map, this is where the place is, Nir Am Kibbutz. And this is in Israel, if you do not know. And this is where the missile fell. This is Gaza. So it was launched from Gaza, fell in Israel, and the place called Nir Am Kibbutz. And again, creating a lot of problem and panic for the Zionist state. And they have to have those red alerts on all the time. Now let's move on to these terrorists. They are so evil. These are settlers, by the way, if you do not know them. Welcome to the world of terrorism. If you really want to see the faces of terrorism, hey lady, can you look, can you turn around? I want to show your face. But these are terrorists. Like, they are so evil, so evil. They go into villages and towns of the Palestinian people and they massacre them. Since October 7th, they have killed at least 1,000. We do not know the exact number, but it could be more than that. But the Al-Quds Brigade of Islamic Jihad, they have targeted these settlers in the area called Kuza, south of Israel, with rocket attack on these settlements. Again, if you want to really see the face of terrorists, just take a look at all of these monsters, these thieves, these robbers who go to villages and towns to create havoc and panic among the innocent civilians of Palestine and Gaza. Now, this is another slideshow where it shows that more rockets were launched and they were detected by the ITF or Israeli terrorist forces. Guys, again, these are all my exclusive photos. that I bring to you so that you understand what is happening. And when I show you the images, it's much easier for you to know the whole scenario, how it is being unfolded. But again, they have more rockets and more missiles raining on them, the Zionist forces. Now, this is coming from Omar al-Qassam brigades, and they have said that we have targeted soldiers, Israeli Zionist soldiers gathering, and this happened with, they attacked with mortar shells. The resistance forces, they have used mortar shells, and this happened in the civil administration site east of Jabalia refugee camp in northern Gaza. These soldiers, you can imagine, they're in Gaza, in northern Gaza, and they walk in groups, supporting and backing each other. They are so terrified, even with all of these armaments and all that they don't walk alone or in just a group of few numbers, but they walk with a huge number of soldiers supporting each other. And this is why the casualties, because of this kind of huge number of gathering, the casualties are also high when they come under attack. Now, obviously, if you take a look at all of these, you can clearly see that the Zionist forces, they are now at a huge loss. This is becoming much, much worse than they have anticipated. Obviously, because of this attack and continuous casualties that Israel is taking, they do not want to reach to a ceasefire agreement with Hamas because they believe they are not done with Hamas. And what we know for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, that the Israeli terrorist forces cannot get rid of Hamas from, or these resistance forces from Gaza. But would they pay heed to this reality? Of course not. And this is why perhaps you are seeing this kind of report. I want to share with you this one. Take a listen. This report came on a Western media. Now they're claiming that this Israeli diaper army, they are now stopping to serve in the military for combat roles. Take a listen.
I have to say, very sad and points towards a really terrible failure. I'm not trying to say that all of the Israeli army's efforts have failed. Clearly not. Hamas and Hezbollah leadership structure has been destroyed. Israel has had some notable successes on military terms during this war. But this report issued today says that suicides among Israeli soldiers are at a high of 13 years. There hasn't been this amount of suicides seen since 2011. And most of the Israeli soldiers who killed themselves were reservists, meaning older than...
Okay, so older people, older terrorists, they're taking their own lives because they don't want to fight, number one. Number two, when they fight, they know they will be eliminated. If they are not, then they will have to come back to be eliminated. You see the picture here. They have really no other way out. They are stuck in the Zionist state and they're facing death every single day, and they're getting old. They don't want to fight. They want to be, with their grandchildren, papa, daddy, have good time, drink a cup of tea and coffee and go about their day. But that is not happening because of the resistance forces. They're so active. They're pursuing them. This is what happens when you live in a fake state. When you impose, you forcefully take others' land. This is what life you lead.
Not the 18-year-old kids, but people already somewhat established in life. And in another astonishing statistic, astonishing for its vagueness, the same military report admitted that thousands, without saying how many, but thousands of combat soldiers have quit those combat positions because of mental stress. So this gives us a real sense of the strains that are tearing apart the Israeli army as this war continues endlessly. It's important also to say...
Okay, so just want to make a comment. Thousands of them are now deserting their post. One person asked me, brother, when you talk about the defeat of Israel, I don't see it happening. They are bombing Syria, they're bombing Gaza. You're just making me resentful towards what you say with your reports. This is my answer to you. Thousands of them are now saying, no, we don't care about the Israeli Zionist forces, we don't want to be served in the military, and they're taking their own lives. A lot of them are dying every single day. This is happening. So this is, if you don't see a defeat here, I don't know what else I can tell you. Yes, they are committing genocide. Yes, that's how they are. But let not their cruelty against the Palestinian people change the narrative that these are diaper army at the end of the day. Come on, guys, wake up. These people are being defeated every single day. They're not winning. When you kill innocent people and in return you get killed by real men, you are never winning.
That the military leadership in Israel has basically informed the Israeli government now for months that this war should be over, that the fighting is over. But for political reasons, it would say for diplomatic reasons and security reasons, the Israeli government is not yet willing to declare an end to this war.
Yeah, because they know that if they declare this to be an end of the war, then they are not winning. They have not won anything. So this will be a complete and utter loss. Since October 7, everything Israel did will be complete loss if they declare that, well, we're done with this war, because they have accomplished nothing. They have captured no land, nothing. They're returning empty-handed every single day. Let's take a listen at what this UN Special Rapporteur calls, what she's saying. She actually called for global recognition of Gaza genocide and decisive action. Let's take a listen what she has to say.
Good morning, everyone. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, Ambassador Abdelhadi, and colleagues from the Commission of Inquiry and the Special Rapporteurship. I would like to start by reading the remarks I started with yesterday as I presented my fifth report as a Special Rapporteur to the Third Committee of the General Assembly. In a year in which I was turned into a reluctant chronicler of genocide, I feel compelled to start by paying my respects to the victims and survivors of all genocides, past and present, including the Native Americans, like the Lenape people, who are the original stewards of the land on which this institution stands. Certainly, the ongoing struggle of Native Americans and indigenous peoples everywhere to regain and maintain their rights on their ancestral land, like the Palestinians, would be less challenging if institutions like this one, premised upon equality and freedom of all and self-determination for all, were actually committed to addressing and unraveling the colonial past, beginning by confronting the prevailing colonial amnesia that affects many of them. And as Italian Holocaust survivor Primo Levi reminds us, it is the amnesia of the past and the erasure of its victims that allows history to repeat itself. And why did I start by reading this again and again? It's because history is repeating itself. Yesterday, I presented my second report on genocide. Why so? Why do I insist in calling it genocide? Because it's so difficult to prove intent. Why don't you go with war crimes and crimes against humanity? Because it's genocide. Because if you go to a doctor and you have cancer and you are diagnosed with fever, you have a problem, a big problem, and it's the same with the people who's being genocided. Because it's not about a collection of war crimes and crimes against humanity that the Palestinians are experiencing. They have experienced through their entire life as a people war crimes and crimes against humanity. But nowadays, the situation is different. And it's very important that we understand what is genocide and why this is to be recognized as a genocide.
Okay, so I do understand what she's saying, and I completely support her, and God bless her. I mean, she is a very righteous woman. What she's doing is very, very righteous, calling genocide for what it is. But this is where I think we also have to understand something else, which is that this genocide would not have started if we had been vocal about what the settler terrorists are doing in West Bank. If we had stopped them a long time ago from taking over lands and killing innocent civilians, Palestinians, and these are settlers. I'm not talking even about the IDF, the terrorist forces that Israel has. I'm talking about settlers, people who come from all around the world into Israel, and then they start killing Palestinians. I'm talking about them. And this is going on for the last several decades. If we had stopped those terrorist settlers, today would not have seen this genocide, perhaps. But now that it is already happening, of course, it's better than late. Better late than never.
Because in the same way as the international community has failed to protect the victims of genocide in the case of the Jewish people in Europe, and then the Bosnians in former Yugoslavia, and then the Tutsi in Rwanda. In the same way, we are failing the Palestinians. And I want to express all my respect and solidarity with the Palestinian people, because it's a torment to be here as a Palestinian and having to tell all of us about the genocide that their people are experiencing. Because a people is like a body. You chop one arm, you chop one limb, the entire body suffers. And this is what a people is. It's something organic. And the same thing is the relation between the people and the land. For indigenous people, the land is not the place where they live. The land is who they are. And this is why we need to understand the bigger design behind what's happening in Palestine today. On the 14th of October, when together with other special rapporteurs, we started to denounce, to raise the alarm that what Israel had started to do might be genocide, and there was a serious risk of genocide. And then as of November, 30 of us have said a genocide is unfolding. I also said on the 14th of October, under the fog of war, Israel accelerates the forced displacement of the Palestinians. And I do say that out of the scholarship that I've produced, because the way I know the question of Palestine is through the forced displacement of its people, since even before the State of Israel was created. Palestinians have been kicked out of their land amid the destruction of their villages and everything they had from 1947-49 and in 1967, and it continues. And what's happening today, it's much more severe because of the technology, because of the weaponry, but also because of the impunity that has been granted to the State of Israel over 76 years. The hubris that has led Israel to attack not just the Palestinian people or the Lebanese, and to the Lebanese also goes my solidarity in this moment, but the United Nations. This year has also marked an attack against the United Nations physically, symbolically. In terms of functions, Israel has damaged or in any way bombed and targeted and hit 70% of UNRWA infrastructure in Gaza. It has launched a campaign, a smear campaign against UNRWA.
Any institution, what she is saying, any institution that will go against Israel will be coming under attack. And they have assaulted pretty much every single thing on earth. Whatever is going against Israel, they have assaulted, they have insulted, they have attacked, they have destroyed them. This is the level of genocidal maniacs mentalities are these days. This is the level. They have crossed every red line of humanity. I mean, this is exactly what she's trying to articulate here.
Intensified a pattern that was already established. And it has killed 230 UN staff members, colleagues of many of those who work in this institution. And it has targeted the humanitarian capacity of UNRWA. And it has even targeted UN peacekeepers. And it has targeted the UN Secretary General and independent experts. And its very illustrious assembly. No one has been spared, not just among the Palestinians and the Lebanese, even in the United Nations. And it's because of that, on top of the genocide and on top of the 57 years of unlawful occupation, that I say it's time to consider suspending the credential of Israel as a member state. I understand the sensitivity, because none of you has really clean hands when it comes to human rights. That's okay. But no one else has maintained an unlawful occupation violating decades of UN Security Council, General Assembly, Human Rights Council, International Court of Justice, decision and resolutions as Israel has done. Enough. And the last point.
Can you imagine if Russia or China would have done this, how US would have reacted? Oh my God, sanction. I mean, Russia, who's trying to defend its territories from NATO aggression, is coming under sanction every single day. Same with Iran. But for Israel, violating every single human right, every single international law, no sanction. It is happening quite the opposite. They're getting money from the United States. This is why we say United States, not just Israel, who should be losing its credentials, but also United States, the government of United States, occupied by Zionism, should not have any credentials as well.
Genocide. Why this is genocide? Genocide is a very insidious crime. It's a process, it's not an act. And there is a significant jurisprudence, but still incipient jurisprudence, thankfully. And the critical element to determine genocide is the intent behind acts of killing and infliction harm and creating conditions of life leading to the destruction of a group as such. There is the intent. And the discussion I hear, including from scholars, well, it's difficult to prove the intent. The intent is not a motive. It's a different thing. Its intent is the determination to destroy through criminal acts. Motives can vary. One can commit genocide because